So the next thing we're going to look at is a little more advanced setup, and it's if we're going to add additional fixtures into the stuff that's already programmed in here. We do that a lot for the DVC shows. We'll set up some extra movers on truss, do some cool things with that. So the way to do that, you'll build all the things on stage. You'll set the addresses for those lights on stage, which we'll cover in another video, because it's different for every light. And the next thing we want to do is go up here, save a new show. So you save a new show, call it like the name of the show. That way we're not overriding our default show. Although I have a backup save, it's good if we don't override that. Then you go up to Onyx again. You go to this patch section. And it's going to pop up with this. This shows us a list of everything that's patched into the board right now. So these are all the default things that live in the loft. The ID is the number that you use within the software itself to control them. So that's assignable. We just make that up, whatever we want. And a good way to do that, and how I have these separated out, is basically in banks of 100, depending on where the fixtures are located in the room. So all the movers and LEDs are just single digits. The upstage truss is in the hundreds. Downstage truss is in the 200s, and so on. Next we get the name of the fixture, which you get to name yourself. Type of fixture. The universe that it's in. So what a universe is a single cable of control. Each universe has 512 channels. And in this board we have 2 universes coming out. One is for all the movers and LEDs on stage, so that's just a DMX cable ran to the lights. And the other is for the house lights, so that's another DMX cable patched into the circuit breakers on the wall to control those. The address is the actual number that will program into the light so that the software knows where that light is basically in the DMX chain. So there you go. Let's say we want to add in some fixtures. We're going to go to the commands, new fixture. It's going to pop up with this. So we need to know the exact type of light that we're patching in. So let's say we're going to do the Chauvet light. You find it in here. Pick the 4-bar tri. Those look real cool. You set them up behind a DJ, blast them with light. You got to select the mode that it's in. So you can pick this on the actual light itself. It can be 3-channel or 15-channel control. You want to make sure those match up, otherwise it's going to act weird. This just shows you what each channel is actually recording. So there's 4 different lights, so you get 4 different RGBs and some other controls up here. So once you get that all set, you're going to hit Auto Patch. It's going to take you to this screen. This screen is going to show you where everything is patched in already. So we have the movers. They take up multiple channels of control because they have pan and tilt and color and intensity and all that. We have the hex pars, which are the LEDs. And then we have all of these open channels. So what we're going to do is name it, whatever we want, call it DJ. Oh yeah, exclamation point. The amount is how we set the number of lights that we have. So if you were setting up more than one of these, you could dial that up and it would just copy all the parameters that you're setting over to the next one, just on a further up the chain in the addresses. For now, we'll just do 1. It has these auto patching features because it's trying to make it easier on you, and it just looks for the next available area in the DMX chain, but I usually shut those off because we like to set them custom. So what we're going to do, set the ID, which is the actual number in the software that controls it. I'll typically do these in banks of 100, as you saw before. So let's start these at 600. We'll go 601. And then if we were doing more lights of the same type, we'd keep them all in the 600 and just change the number as we go up. We do 602, 603 for the different lights. The universe, we already talked about that. We'll keep it in universe 1 because we're essentially going to jump a cable out of the mover, DMX, and then just down into the new movers that we've added in. The address, you're going to program that on the actual light. You want to make sure it's not an address that's already taken, because otherwise you'll get a conflict and they won't work. So let's start that at 201. You can see it's all green. So it starts at 201, and then you see there's all the different channels of control, so it eats up 15 channels of the DMX. It's green, which means we're good. Boom. Footprint, that just tells you how many channels it's going to use. And that's it. Once we get that set up, now you can see if we added another fixture, it's going to go to 215, and then the next fixture is going to start on address 216 and eat up 15 more channels. So the more we do, you can see until we got a conflict with the other stuff. And just remember that the ID and the address are two different things. The address is for the software, so it knows what signals it's spitting out, and the ID is for you, so it's easy to program in the software. So the IDs will be simpler. So it'll be 601, the next one would be 602, the next one would be 603. The address will start at 201, and then the next one would be 216, and the next one would be 230 something. So they're two different numbers, don't get them confused. Then we apply to patch. It's going to look for conflicts, and it's going to patch that sucker. So now I usually like to go down. There's the DJ Oh Yeah, 601. I like to audition it, which means it'll turn it on basically. So we hit this little light bulb up here, and then when you click on the number, you should see it all come on stage. That's a good way to know that you patched everything correctly, everything's working. So if we see it on stage, we know that we're good. And we know that the light is patched. And that is pretty much how to patch a light. You want to add any more fixtures, you just go back here, add new fixtures, and there you go.